Hey guys, welcome to another Java tutorial video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the three different types of Java variables. Now we're not going to be talking about data types, we're not going to be talking about integers, doubles, boolean, strings, things like that. Don't worry about that. That's dealing with primitive data types or non-primitive data types. We're not going to be talking about data types, we're just going to be talking about the core fundamentals of the three Java variables. Now there are three of them, and the three are instance, local, and static. And we're just going to go over each one real quick so you kind of have a good understanding of how each one works, and then we'll get into data types in the next video. So starting off, we're going to go with instance variables. Now instance variables are variables outside the scope of any method but inside of the class. So for example, int age right here is a instance variable, and that's because it's not within here. This would be right here. This would be a local variable. This is an instance variable because no matter where it is, or because it's in here, no matter where in the code you try to go, you can access this variable. So for example, obviously it works in here because we have it here working and stuff like that. But let's say, for example, I wanted to set the age with a function. We could do public void set age, maybe int, pass in the new age that we want to get with it, and we just do something like that. What we could do is age equals new age. And so what this function would do is this would take the current age of whatever we had set this to and make it equal to the new age that we passed here. So for example, we have instance student2 equals new instance, student2.age equals 5. If we did student2.setAge and we set it to 10, this would now print out the age 10, and it would equal this student age here. So that's kind of a brief breakdown of what instance variables are. They are simply variables outside the scope of any method but inside the scope of the class and are accessible throughout the entire class. Now local variables are the complete opposite in a way. Local variables are variables that are inside of a function and not accessible throughout the entire class. They are only accessible within the function they are in. So for example, int age equals 0 right here. This is a local variable, and that's because you can mess around with it inside the function. You can do anything you want with it inside the function itself, but if you try to go to a different function, for example here, you notice that this does not work. There's nothing this can do. This doesn't really seem to work. There's an error here, can't be resolved to a variable. You don't really know kind of why that is, and that's because this is not in the scope of this. Everything in here is only usable within there. Now if we did int, I don't know, butters, and we did something like that, we could do butters here and it would work. But because it's not in the scope of this function, it's only in the scope of this function, it's only accessible in there. So that's exactly what a local variable is. Now, static variables. Static variables are very similar to instance variables, but the difference is static variables are only buildable or only able to be made one time. So if you create a function, or you create if you create a new instance of an object, it's only able to be used one time. So for example, right here we have public static int age and public static string name equals sat. So right here you see static.age equals 5. We can access this variable right here without actually creating a new object. So you notice in here we had to create a new object, and then we were able to access the variables within it. For static, we don't need to do that. We can just simply call upon the variables in that field itself. So you see here static.name, static.age. There's no errors here because these are not needed to be created. There's no need to create a new object and set an object to another variable and things like that. You're simply able to just grab these because no matter how many times, if I was to do this, for example, static, let's say static, new static equals new static, just like this. No matter how many times I did this, so let's say we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No matter how many times I did that, static.age equals 5. This static.age right here would always equal 5. It would never equal anything else. If I did new static.one like this one would equal 5. This one would equal 5. This one would equal 5. It doesn't matter because this variable has already been set one time, and it's there's only one of them. There's not a new instance of that variable every time I create a new one. So this one doesn't have anything different than this one and things like that. So let's say I did new static 1.age equals 10. Well, this new static 4.age would print out 10 because we've set it here, but these are actually this one, and this variable, or this call right here, are all referencing the exact same age because there's only one of them. So that's just a brief rundown of the differences between local, instance, and static variables. Those are the 3 different types of Java variables in the Java programming language. We'll get to data types in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.